The 7 elders of the Galaxy Confederation sat in their crystal chamber. Their world was dying. Their enemies grew stronger every day. "We have no choice," said High Commander Rixel. His crystalline body shimmered with dull blue light. "We must activate the beacon." The others shifted uncomfortably, making soft clinking sounds as their crystal bodies moved. "The beacon has never been used," said Elder Tyvix. "We do not know who or what might answer." Rixel stood tall. "If we do nothing, our people will be gone within 10 cycles. The Mora will not stop until we are extinct." No one argued. They had fought the Mora for generations. Now they were losing. "Activate the beacon," Rixel ordered. Deep beneath their capital city, ancient machines hummed to life. A signal burst from the planet, traveling faster than light into the darkness of space. The message was simple. "To any species capable of interstellar travel, we face extinction. We offer our knowledge and resources in exchange for salvation." The Galaxy waited. Days passed, then weeks, then months. No one answered. Dr. Taiwan Kim stared at his computer screen, rubbing his tired eyes. The night shift at the Korea Astronomy and Space Science Institute was always quiet, but tonight something was different. "Jiwoo, come look at this," he called to his research assistant. Jiwoo Park set down her coffee and walked over. "What is it?" "This pattern keeps repeating." Taiwan pointed to a series of signals on his monitor. "It's too regular to be natural." Jiwoo leaned closer. "Could it be interference from a satellite?" "No." Taiwan shook his head. "It's coming from the direction of the Cygnus constellation, about 47 light-years away." Jiwoo's eyes widened. "Are you saying?" "I'm saying we need to analyze this signal. Now." For the next 3 days, Taiwan and Jiwoo barely slept. They ran the signal through every decoding program they had. Other scientists joined them. Government officials arrived. The building buzzed with excitement and fear. On the 4th day, they cracked it. "It's a message," Taiwan announced to the crowded room. His voice shook. "From another civilization." The room fell silent as he displayed the translation on the main screen. "To any species capable of interstellar travel, we face extinction. We offer our knowledge and resources in exchange for salvation." "My God," someone whispered. "We're not capable of interstellar travel," said the government official. "We can't help them." Jiwoo stepped forward. "But we could be." "The message includes basic schematics for faster-than-light travel. If we can understand it, we could build it," Taiwan finished. Within days, the message spread across Earth. Every nation, every scientist, every engineer focused on one goal: understanding the alien technology. Progress that should have taken decades happened in months. 6 months after receiving the message, the United Earth Alliance was formed. Countries pooled their resources. The brightest minds worked together. They built humanity's first faster-than-light engine. At the launch ceremony for the Starship Horizon, Captain Do-Yeon Lee stood before the world's cameras. A former military pilot with keen eyes and a thoughtful expression, he addressed the billions watching. "Today, humanity answers a call from the stars. We go not as conquerors, but as helpers. Not as saviors, but as friends." He paused. "We don't know what awaits us, but we go with courage and hope." Dr. Haeun Choi, the ship's xenolinguist, stood nearby. She had spent months studying the alien message, trying to understand not just their words but their culture. "They think we're advanced," she had told Do-Yeon privately. "They have no idea we learned interstellar travel from their own message." As the Horizon prepared for launch, no one knew what waited 47 light-years away. But humanity had answered the call, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The journey to the Galaxy home system took 8 months. For the crew of the Horizon, time passed slowly in the strange emptiness of faster-than-light travel. Captain Do-Yeon Lee spent most days in the ship's observatory, staring at the blur of stars. Today, Dr. Haeun Choi joined him. "We'll arrive tomorrow," she said, standing beside him. Do-Yun nodded. Are you ready? No one is ready to meet aliens. Hae-Yun smiled. But I've practiced their language every day. And you think they'll understand us? Their message was clear. If they can send it, they can understand our reply. The captain turned to her. What do you think they look like? I'm more interested in how they think. Hae-Yun said. She had studied possible alien psychology for years. Their message was desperate but polite. That tells us something. The ship's speakers interrupted them. Captain to the bridge. We're detecting structures ahead. The horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a blue-green planet. The crew stared at their screens in wonder. There are ships everywhere, said Lieutenant Sungo Park. And stations. They've built a ring around their planet. Any signs of battle? Asked Do-Yun. They said they faced extinction. Nothing obvious, sir, but there's something strange about the third moon. It's moving wrong. Engineer Jinyam Kang studied his readings. That's no moon. It's a ship, bigger than anything we've ever built. Are they scanning us? Do-Yun asked. Yes, sir. Very thoroughly. Open a channel, ordered Do-Yun. Let's introduce ourselves. Dr. Hae-Yun Choi stepped forward. She spoke carefully in the language she had learned from the alien message. The response came immediately. The ship's computer translated. Human vessel. You are welcome. We had lost hope. Follow our guide to the docking station. A small ship appeared, glowing with blue light. The horizon followed it toward the planet's ring. As they approached, they saw the Velaxi for the first time. The beings moved around their space station, their bodies like walking crystals that caught the light of their sun. They were beautiful and strange. They don't look like they're losing a war, whispered Major Sun Wukwan, the ship's military strategist. Maybe we're seeing their last safe place, Hae-Yun suggested. The horizon docked at the station. A delegation of humans prepared to exit the ship. Captain Do-Yun, Dr. Hae-Yun, Engineer Jin-Young, Major Sunwoo, and diplomat Min Ji-Yoon stood at the airlock. Remembered, said Do-Yun. We represent all of humanity now. They stepped onto the alien station. 5 Velaxi waited for them. The crystals of their bodies pulsed with light as they spoke. We welcome you, humans, said the tallest one. The translation came through the humans' devices. I am High Commander Rixel of the Velaxi Confederation. You have answered our call when no one else would. Do-Yun stepped forward. I am Captain Do-Yun Lee of Earth. We come to help however we can. The Velaxi leader's body brightened. Truly, you will fight for us. Do-Yun hesitated. We hope to find a peaceful solution. There is no peace with the Mora, said Rixel. His light dimmed. They hunt us across the stars. They will not stop until we are gone. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the station. The Velaxi crystals pulsed with rapid colors. They are here, Rixel said. The Mora have found us again. The humans looked at each other nervously. They had come to help, but they hadn't expected to walk into battle so soon. Through the station's windows, they saw a dark shape emerging from behind the planet. It was the size of a small moon, black and threatening. That's a Mora war vessel, said Rixel. Now you will see what we face. Do-Yun watched the massive enemy ship approach. He had brought 80 humans across the stars. Now they stood between civilizations with technology far beyond Earth's. Show us your defenses, he said to Rixel, and tell us everything about your enemy. The time for talk was over. Humanity's first battle among the stars was about to begin. The Velaxi space station shook as the Mora ship fired its first shots. Captain Do-Yun Lee and his crew rushed with Rixel to the command center. Our shields are holding, said a Velaxi operator, its crystal body flashing with red light. For now, said Rixel, but they always find a way through. Do-Yun studied the Velaxi defense systems. They were far more advanced than anything on Earth, yet they couldn't stop the Mora. Why do they hate you so much? He asked. Rixel's light dimmed. They are monsters. They want our resources, our worlds. Dr. Heian Choi watched the exchange carefully. Something didn't feel right. Captain, she said quietly to Do-Yun, request access to their historical data. I want to know more about this war. Do-Yun nodded and turned to Rixel. To help you better, we need to understand the full history between your peoples. Rixel hesitated. Now is not the time for history lessons. It is exactly the time, Do-Yun insisted. We cannot fight an enemy we don't understand. Finally, Rixel agreed. You may access our library, but stay alert. The Mora will not stop firing. While the battle continued outside, Dr. Haven and Engineer Jinyoung searched through the Velaxi records. The alien writing was complex, but their translation devices worked well enough. Look at this, Jinyoung said after an hour. He pointed to an ancient document. The first contact between Velaxi and Mora was 500 years ago. The Velaxi found the Mora on a mining planet. Heian read further, her face growing serious. The Mora were primitive then. The Velaxi. They enslaved them. What? Jinyoung moved closer to read. For 300 years, the Velaxi used Mora as workers in their mines. They didn't see them as intelligent beings. Heian's voice shook. They saw them as animals. They read more, page after page of the terrible truth. The Mora developed faster than expected, Jinyoung read. They built tools in secret, learned the Velaxi language, and then they rebelled, finished Heian. They escaped and built their own civilization. Now they want revenge for centuries of slavery. They looked at each other, both thinking the same thing. The Velaxi were not innocent victims. Captain Do-Yun listened grimly as Heian explained what they had found. Major Sunwoo and Diplomat Minji stood with him, equally troubled. We were deceived, Do-Yun said. Rixel made it seem like they were under attack for no reason. The Velaxi did terrible things, Minji agreed. But does that justify the Mora trying to wipe them out now? Sunwoo crossed his arms. What did they expect us to do once we learned the truth? Keep fighting for slavers. We need to talk to the Mora, Heian said. Maybe they'll listen to a neutral third party. Do-Yun nodded slowly. But how? They're currently trying to blow us up along with the Velaxi. Jinyoung, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. What if we could send them a message? Show them we're not Velaxi allies, but new visitors who want to understand both sides. Can we do that through the battle? Do-Yun asked. Maybe. Jinyoung's eyes lit up with an idea. Their weapons use quantum communication. If I could tap into that signal. Do it, Do-Yun ordered. As Jinyoung hurried away, the station shook again from another attack. What do we do about Rixel? Minji asked. He lied to us. Do-Yun's face hardened. First, we survive this attack. Then I'll have some very direct questions for our crystal host. Outside, the Mora ship moved closer, its weapons charging for another, stronger blast. Time was running out for humans to find a way to stop a war they never meant to join. A war where neither side was truly innocent. Engineer Jinyoung worked quickly, connecting wires from his Earth devices to the Velaxi communication system. The station shook again as another Mora blast hit the shields. Shields at 30%, a Velaxi operator reported. Captain Do-Yun watched the battle on the main screen. The Mora ship was huge and powerful, but it moved in straight, predictable patterns. They attacked the same way each time, he said to Major Sunwoo. No variation. Sunwoo nodded. They rely on power, not strategy. Do-Yun turned to Rixel. We need to talk to the Mora, but first we must survive. Can your weapons target their engines? We've tried, Rixel said. Their shields are too strong. What about their shield generators? Where are they located? Rixel pointed to spots on the enemy ship, here and here, but they're well protected. Do-Yun smiled for the first time since the battle began. On Earth, we have a saying. Don't attack where the enemy is strongest. Attack where they don't expect you. He gathered his team. Sunwoo, I need a battle plan. Jinyoung, can you modify the Velaxi weapons? To do what? Jinyoung asked. To fire in patterns they won't expect. 20 minutes later, everything was ready. The Velaxi watched in confusion as the humans took over their defense systems. Their shields are strongest at the front, Sunwoo explained. But what about underneath? The Velaxi stared at him. No one attacks from below. It's too dangerous to position ships there. Exactly, said Do-hyun. They won't expect it. Jinyoung had reprogrammed the station's defense drones, small, unmanned ships that normally formed a protective line. These can fly in formation like birds, he explained. We can send them under the Mora ship while their attention is on the main station. It won't work, Rixel insisted. Their shields cover all sides. Not equally, said Sunwoo. No defense is perfect. Do-hyun gave the order. The drones launched, but instead of forming a line, they moved in a strange pattern, like a flock of birds, diving beneath the Mora ship. The Mora weapons continued to target the station, ignoring the small drones. Now, Do-hyun ordered. The drones fired together, all targeting one small point under the Mora ship. Their individual weapons were weak, but combined, they created a powerful surge. A small explosion flashed on the screen. Again, Do-hyun called. The drones regrouped and attacked a second spot. Another explosion, bigger this time. It's working, Jinyoung shouted. Their shields are weakening. The Mora ship began to turn, trying to target the drones, but they moved too quickly, changing direction as one unit. They can't predict the pattern, Sunwoo said proudly. Because there isn't one. The drones are following each other, not a program. The Velaxi watched in amazement. For hundreds of years, they had fought the Mora with direct attacks and failed. These humans, with their primitive technology, were succeeding with creativity. A third strike from the drones hit a critical system. The Mora ship's weapons went dark. They're disabled, Rixel said in disbelief. You did it. Do-hyun shook his head. We didn't destroy them. We just gave us time to talk. He turned to Jinyoung. Is the communication system ready? Jinyoung nodded. Ready, Captain. Open a channel to the Mora ship. The screen flickered, then showed the Mora command center. The aliens were large, with dark red skin and 4 arms. They looked angry and confused. This is Captain Do-hyun Lee of Earth, Do-hyun said calmly. We are not your enemy. We've just arrived in this system and have learned there are 2 sides to this conflict. We request a meeting to hear your side. The Mora commander stared at the human. After a long pause, he spoke. You fight with the Velaxi, yet you ask to talk. We fight to survive, Do-hyun answered. But we want to understand. Will you meet with us? The Mora commander looked surprised by this approach. Finally, he nodded. We will meet, but not on the Velaxi station. On your ship. Do-hyun agreed. As the screen went dark, he turned to his crew. Now comes the hard part. Getting enemies who have hated each other for centuries to talk. The meeting room on the horizon felt too small for the tension it held. Captain Do-hyun sat at the head of the table. To his right sat Dr. Hae-yun and Diplomat Minji. To his left was Rixel of the Velaxi, his crystal body glowing a nervous blue. Across from them sat the Mora commander, Vrax. He was twice as tall as a human, with red skin that looked like rock. His 4 arms rested on the table, each hand ending in sharp claws. This meeting is pointless, Rixel said. The Mora only understand violence. Vrax growled, a deep sound that made the humans' chairs vibrate. Rich words from slavers. That was centuries ago. Rixel's color flashed red. Not to us, Vrax said. Our grandparents still tell stories of your minds, of Velaxi whips. Do-hyun raised his hand. We're not here to argue about the past. We're here to find a way forward. Vrax turned to the human captain. Why should we trust you? You fight alongside the Velaxi. We defended ourselves, Do-hyun said. And we disabled your weapons without destroying your ship. We could have killed you, but we chose to talk instead. The Mora commander studied him. Humans are strange. Minji spoke next, her voice gentle but firm. Both your peoples have suffered. Both have caused harm. Must this cycle continue until one side is gone? Yes, Rixel and Vrax said at the same time. Dr. Hayun leaned forward. During the past day, she had studied both cultures deeply. Your peoples have more in common than you think, she said. Both the Valaxi and Mora honor their ancestors above all else. Both believe the past shapes the future. Vrax nodded slowly. This is true. Then consider this, Hayun continued. What would your ancestors want? Endless war, or a chance for their children's children to live in peace? The room fell silent. Neither alien had considered this question before. Dohyun saw his opening. I propose a meeting of elders from both sides, not to discuss the past, but to honor it, and then look beyond it. Impossible, Rixel said. Our elders would never meet with theirs. What are you afraid of? Vrax asked. That they might see us as people, not animals. Rixel's color darkened. You have killed thousands of Valaxi. And you enslaved millions of Mora. Vrax stood up, his forearms tensed. Minji stepped between them. Stop. This is exactly why we need the elders. You two are too angry to see clearly. Dohyun stood up too. His voice was quiet but strong. The Valaxi asked for help. We came. But we won't help you destroy each other. Either you try peace, or we leave this system and let you finish your war alone. Rixel's light dimmed in shock. You would abandon us. We won't support genocide on either side, Dohyun said firmly. He turned to Vrax. And wiping out the Valaxi won't heal the wounds of the past. It will only create new ones. Vrax sat down slowly. What exactly do you propose, human? A council, 3 Valaxi elders, 3 Mora elders, and 3 humans as neutral voices. Dohyun looked at both aliens. 1 month of talks. No attacks during that time. And if these talks fail? Rixel asked. Then at least you tried peace before choosing final war, Hayun said softly. The room grew quiet again. Everyone could feel the weight of the moment. Finally, Vrax spoke. 1 month. No more. Rixel's color shifted through several shades before settling on a calm green. Agreed. 1 month. Dohyun nodded. Then let's begin. As the aliens left to contact their leaders, Minji turned to Dohyun. Do you think this will work? I don't know, he admitted. But humans have fought our own bloody wars. We've learned that peace is always possible, if both sides want it enough. Hayun smiled. And sometimes all it takes is a new perspective, someone from outside the conflict to help them see each other clearly. The humans looked out the window at the stars. They had traveled across the galaxy to help a dying race. Now they found themselves trying to heal wounds centuries old, between civilizations they barely understood. It was not what they had expected, but perhaps it was exactly why the universe had brought them here. For 2 weeks, the peace talks made slow but steady progress. The council met each day on a neutral space station. 3 Valaxi elders, 3 Mora leaders, and 3 humans, Captain Dohyun, Dr. Hayun, and Diplomat Minji, worked to find common ground. Today we discuss reparations, Minji said, opening the 7th session. The word made the Valaxi elders shift uncomfortably. Their crystal bodies flickered with nervous light. Elder Savix, the oldest Valaxi, spoke first. What form would these reparations take? Resources, growled Koda, a scarred Mora veteran. And territory. You took our home world. We want it back. Impossible, cried Savix. Millions of Valaxi live there now. The argument grew heated. Dr. Hayun watched carefully, noticing how one Valaxi elder, Zurax, remained silent, his light pulsing with dark colors. Later, as they returned to the horizon, Hayun shared her concerns with Dohyun. Elder Xerax troubles me, she said. He never speaks during the meetings, but his color shows anger. Many Valaxi oppose these talks, Dohyun replied. But what choice do they have? Their civilization is dying. People who feel cornered can make desperate choices, Heian warned. Dohyun nodded. I'll speak with Rixel about him. But before he could, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Sungo's voice came over the communication system. Captain, the Mora settlement on the fourth moon is under attack. The humans rushed to the command center. On the screens, they saw Valaxi ships bombing the Mora settlement. Hundreds were already dead. Who authorized this? Rixel demanded, his crystal body flashing with confusion. A message appeared on the screen. Elder Xerax's face filled the display. I did, he said coldly. Peace with animals is impossible. The only solution is their extinction. Rixel's color drained to pale blue. You've doomed us all. The screen changed to show the Mora fleet launching from their bases. Their ships moved with terrible purpose toward the Valaxi homeworld. All Valaxi vessels returned to defend the planet, Rixel ordered. He turned to Dohyun. You must help us. They will kill everyone, even the children. Before Dohyun could answer, the station shook violently. Mora forces had arrived. They think we helped plan this attack, Minji realized. The station's defenses activated automatically. Explosions rocked the structure. We need to get back to the horizon, Dohyun ordered his team. They ran toward the docking bay, but a blast tore through the corridor ahead of them. The path to their ship was blocked. This way, Rixel called, leading them down another passage. There are escape pods. As they ran, more explosions hit the station. The lights failed, leaving only the glow of Rixel's body to guide them. We'll split up, Dohyun decided quickly. Rixel, take Heian and Jinyoung to the south pods. Minji, Sunwoo, come with me to the north section. We'll meet at the emergency coordinates. They separated at the next junction. Dohyun's group had gone only 50 meters when a squad of Mora soldiers appeared. Humans, their leader shouted. You betrayed the peace talks. No, Minji stepped forward. We had nothing to do with the attack. The Mora didn't lower their weapons. You will come with us. Now, across the station, Heian's group faced their own problems. The south section was in flames. No escape pods remained. We're trapped, Jinyoung said. Rixel's color shifted to a determined gold. No, follow me. There's another way out. In orbit above them, Lieutenant Sungo watched in horror from the horizon as both Valaxi and Mora fleets mobilized for full-scale war. The peace that had seemed so close was now further away than ever. And somewhere in the chaos, his captain and friends were trapped, caught between ancient enemies whose hatred had just been reignited. The betrayal had begun a new chapter in the war, and humanity was now caught in the middle of it. Captain Dohyun, Minji, and Major Sunwoo sat in a cold cell aboard the Mora warship. They had been prisoners for 3 days. They won't even listen to us, Minji said quietly. They believe we helped plan Xerax's attack. Sunwoo paced the small cell. Where are the others? Did they escape? I don't know, Dohyun replied. He had been watching the Mora guards carefully. But I've noticed something about our captors. What? Sunwoo asked. They always defer to the one with the most markings on their arms. Their society is built on strict hierarchy. Dohyun leaned closer. And they argue among themselves when their leaders aren't watching. Minji understood immediately. You think we can use that? Dohyun nodded. The next time the guards change, I have a plan. Meanwhile, Dr. Heian, Engineer Jinyoung, and Rixel had escaped the station in a small maintenance vessel. They hid in an asteroid field, watching as the war raged across the system. We need to find the others, Jinyoung said, working to repair the ship's damaged communication system. Aeon was studying ancient Valaxi texts she had downloaded before they fled. Listen to this, she said suddenly. According to these early records, The Valaxi and Mora share a common ancestor species. Rixel's crystal body flickered in surprise. That's impossible. Your own science says otherwise. Heian insisted. Both species evolved from the same base life form, but on different planets. You're related by blood. If that's true, Jinyang said slowly, it could change everything. Heian nodded. We need to get this information to both sides. It might be the only way to end this war. The horizon, Rixel said. If your ship is still intact, we could use its communication array to broadcast to the entire system. Jinyang smiled for the first time in days. I can modify it to break through any jamming signals too. On the Mora warship, Dohyun's plan was working. When the guards changed, he had spoken to the new one with perfect respect, addressing him as if he had higher rank. Your superior officer was most impressed with your service record, Dohyun told the guard. He mentioned you specifically. The guard stood straighter. Which officer? The one with the silver marks. He said you should have been promoted already. The guard's eyes widened. Commander Frock said this. I believe that was his name. Yes. This small deception spread quickly. Guards began questioning their commanders. Lower-ranked Mora started demanding better treatment. The ship's strict order began to break down. During the confusion, Dohyun and his team made their move. They escaped their cell and found the ship's communication center. We need to send a message to the horizon, Dohyun told Sunwoo. If it's still out there, Sunwoo replied, working quickly at the alien controls. Lieutenant Sungho was hiding the horizon behind one of the system's outer moons when their receiver picked up a faint signal. It's the captain. He called to the crew. He's alive, aboard a Mora warship. Moments later, another signal came through, from Heian's group. We have crucial information, Heian's voice said. The Valaxi and Mora are genetically related species. They share common ancestors. Sungho looked at his communications officer. Can we broadcast both these messages to the entire system? Yes, sir, but it will reveal our position. Do it, Sungho ordered, and prepare to move in fast. We're getting our people back. The Horizon's communication array activated, sending the combined messages to every ship and station in the system. First came Heian's discovery about the shared ancestry of the two warring species. Then came Dohyun's voice, calling for both sides to stop fighting. You're killing your own family, his message said. Look at the evidence. You're not enemies by nature. You're relatives separated by time and space. Across the system, both Valaxi and Mora ships paused as the message reached them. For the first time in centuries, the fighting stopped, if only for a moment. It was a small pause, but it was enough. Enough for doubt to enter minds long filled with hatred. Enough for questions to form where before there had been only certainty. Enough, perhaps, for peace to have one last chance. 2 years had passed since the day when fighting stopped across the Valaxi system. Captain Dohyun Lee, now Admiral Lee, stood at the window of the new Galactic Assembly building on Earth. Behind him, representatives from the Valaxi, Mora, and a dozen human nations prepared for the day's meeting. Amazing view, isn't it? Dr. Heian said, joining him at the window. I never thought I'd see Valaxi and Mora ships peacefully orbiting Earth. Dohyun nodded. The peace is still fragile, but it's holding. Thanks to you, Heian said. Dohyun shook his head. Thanks to all of us. Your discovery about their common ancestry changed everything. After the broadcast that day, the fighting had not stopped immediately, but doubt had spread through both fleets. Enough ships had stood down that a ceasefire became possible. Enough questions were asked that truth had a chance to be heard. The Valaxi-Mora peace accord had been signed 6 months later. The Valaxi agreed to make reparations for the centuries of slavery, sharing their advanced technology freely. The Mora promised protection and resources in return. Both sides acknowledged their shared ancestry and the pointlessness of their centuries-long war. And humanity. Humanity had changed more than anyone expected. The meeting is about to start. Admiral, said Minji, now Earth's chief diplomat to the stars. The Technology Exchange Committee has their report ready. Do-hyun turned from the window. In the meeting room, engineer Jin-young was showing Velaxi and Mora scientists his latest invention, a combination of their technologies with human innovation. With this new drive system, Jin-young explained, ships can travel twice as fast using half the energy. The aliens nodded in approval. This was the pattern of the past 2 years. Velaxi providing advanced science, Mora contributing powerful engineering, and humans finding creative ways to improve both. Earth had gained centuries of technological progress in just 2 years. Human ships now explored distant star systems. Human doctors used Velaxi healing techniques. Human cities were powered by Mora energy systems. Admiral, call the voice. It was Rixel, his crystal body glowing with warm orange light. The Velaxi High Council has approved the new colony project. Humans, Velaxi, and Mora will build it together. Excellent news, Do-hyun replied. As the meeting began, Major Sunwoo, now General Sunwoo, leaned close to Do-hyun. Have you seen the reports from the Centauri system? Do-hyun nodded. Another alien civilization had been discovered, watching the growing alliance with concern. They're afraid of us, Sunwoo said quietly. Not the Velaxi or Mora. They're afraid of humans. I know, Do-hyun sighed. We're expanding faster than anyone expected. Some of our people are pushing too hard, too fast. Be careful what you wish for, Hae-yeon said, overhearing them. The Velaxi wished for saviors and got them, but they never imagined how quickly we would grow beyond that role. After the meeting, Do-hyun met with Vrax, the Mora commander who had once been his captor and was now his friend. The other species are watching us, Vrax said bluntly. They see how humans have risen so quickly from a planetary species to a galactic power. It makes them nervous. What do you think? Do-hyun asked. Vrax's 4 arms moved in a gesture of uncertainty. I think the universe called for humanity's help, not realizing that once invited to the party, humans never leave early. Do-hyun smiled at the phrase Hae-yeon had taught the Mora. Is that a bad thing? It depends, Vrax said, on what kind of guests you choose to be. As the stars came out over Earth, ships of 3 species moved together through the night sky. The Velaxi had sent out a desperate call for help, never imagining who would answer, or how that answer would forever change the galaxy. They had been careful what they wished for, but perhaps in the end, they had wished for exactly what they needed.